and welcome to Third Eye TV Africa. My name is Joy Malik. We begin with the headlines. President Bola Tinubu calls for enhanced multi-agency synergy to end insecurity. Nigerian military reiterates its commitment to eliminating notorious bandit leader Bello Turji. Plus, Katsina State Police falls bandit attack in the state. Now let's go on a quick break, and when we return, we bring you the news in detail.
For deeper analysis on security situation in Nigeria and beyond, watch Third Eye Africa TV.
Welcome back. Now the news in detail. President Bola Tinubu has called for enhanced multi-agency synergy to eliminate all forms of security threats in the country. The president spoke through Vice President Kashim Shettima at the 5th conference and retreat for senior police officers taking place in Abeokuta, the Ogun State capital. He advised the police as lead agency in internal security to dedicate a significant portion of deliberations at the conference to advancing strategies for multi-agency collaboration. The president stressed the need for the citizens to cooperate with the police, noting that communities and citizens must actively collaborate with the police to foster a safer society. Now, Ogun State Governor Dapo Abiodun hailed President Tinubu for his unwavering commitment to peace, security, and national prosperity since assumption of office. Now, the Nigerian military has reiterated its commitment to eliminating the notorious bandit leader Bello Turji, assuring Nigerians that he is being actively tracked and will soon be neutralized. The Chief of Defense Operations Major General Emeka Onumajuru made this declaration during a television interview monitored in Abuja. He urged Nigerians to be patient, explaining that tracking and neutralizing the bandit leaders require time due to the nature of their movement. However, he assured that Turji's activities in the northwest would soon come to an end as the military remained on his trail. General Onumajuru advised residents to resist any form of extortion by bandits, stressing that military personnel are on ground to ensure their safety. A non-government organization, the Coalition of Northern Forums, CNF, has commended the Minister of State for Defense, Bello Matawalle, for his efforts in strengthening the country's defense capabilities. In a statement issued, the CNF spokesperson Awalu Rababa Suleiman highlighted Matawalle's commitment to improving Nigeria's defense architecture, noting that his policies are contributing to a more robust and effective military. The coalition acknowledged his role in facilitating the acquisition of modern weaponry, upgrading military infrastructure, and implementing strategic reforms to boost the country's security apparatus. The CNF noted that Matawalle's initiatives have contributed to enhance coordination between security agencies and the military's capacity to respond to threats. And in Katsina State, the Katsina State Police Command says it neutralized suspected bandit and foiled an attack in the Sima local government area of the state. Police spokesperson Abubakar Liu in a statement said the incident occurred on Sunday at about midnight after the bandits attacked security operatives in the area. He said upon receipt of the report, operatives promptly responded to the scene, engaging the bandits in a gunduel and successfully foiling the attack, as some of the suspected assailants escaped the scene with various degrees of gunshot injuries. According to Abubakar, during the course of scanning the scene, the body of a neutralized suspected armed bandit was recovered. He noted that efforts were being intensified to ensure the arrest of the fleeing suspects as investigations proceed. Now, in Osun State, reports say heavily armed security personnel were noticed at strategic points on major roads in Oshogbo, the Osun State capital, and its environs on Monday. The news agency of Nigeria reports that there had been contention between the All Progressive Congress, APC, and People's Democratic Party, PDP, over the control of the 30 local government councils in the state. Why the PDP claimed that the February 10, 2025 judgment of the Court of Appeal Akure did not reinstate the sacked APC chairman and councillors elected in 2022, APC insisted on the return to their offices. However, the State Independent Electoral Commission announced the PDP candidate winners of the 30 chairmanship and 332 councillorship seats in the local government elections held on Sunday. The chairman and the councillors were promptly sworn in on Sunday by Governor Demola Adeleke. Now let's go on a quick break, and when we return, newspaper and press review continues. Do stay tuned.
For deeper analysis on security situation in Nigeria and beyond, watch Third Eye Africa TV. Deeper analysis.
Welcome back. If you're just joining us, this is newspaper and press review. My name is Joy Malik. So in the studio today, we have our in-house guest, Mr. Udo Etefia. Thank you for joining us, sir.
Thank you very much.
Well, let's take a look at the Blueprint newspaper. We have NNPCL, RMAFC, Arewa think tank orders back tax reform bills. We have reinstated Osun local government chairman issues 72-hour ultimatum to workers, that you find in page 8 of the Blueprint newspaper. Also, we have in the Leadership newspaper, we have APC begins pushback against opposition coalition. You find that in page 4 of the Leadership newspaper. We also have fuel scarcity looms as marketers threaten nationwide strike. That's you find in page 7 of the Leadership newspaper. We also have Tinubu didn't want me in his cabinet. That's El-Rufai. You find that in page 7 of Leadership newspaper. And also in the Nation newspaper, we have funding crisis, improper planning hinder census. That's in the Nation newspaper. And then we also have Senator, 3 others suspended for romancing Ganduje. That's in the Nation newspaper. You find that in page 27. Well, we have a lot to discuss, and that's why we have Mr. Udo in the studio with us. So let's talk about El-Rufai. So El-Rufai, since he left office, he decided to grant an interview for the first time, and he had a lot to say. But let's talk about the other one where he said Tinubu didn't want him in his cabinet as a minister. What do you have to say about that?
Yes, you know, El-Rufai, the former governor of Kaduna State, immediate past governor, has been a member, a prominent member of the ruling All Progressive Party, Congress, APC, Assembly, as the Senate in particular, when the president was about to constitute his cabinet. So El-Rufai's name was prominent among the list. And you also recall that El-Rufai was one of the backers of the current president to emerge even as a candidate of the ruling APC. And he went on to contest and won the election. But you discover that since El-Rufai was dropped by the Senate in the course of the screening of ministerial appointees, you know, he had withdrawn from the political scene. And why was he dropped? The report we had was that the Senate, based on some security incriminating reports against him, dropped El-Rufai from being a minister. And he didn't say anything as at that time, but we also know that a name was forwarded to replace him from Kaduna State. We would have thought that the matter had been settled and El-Rufai had taken his fate, whatever happened in good faith. But you see now, he's the one leading opposition against the government. Now he has come out to say that it wasn't the Senate that dropped him, it's the president. And one tends to believe him, because if the president wanted him, he would have
been there.
Yes, impressed it upon the Senate to clear him, irrespective. We know how former president behaves, even the current president. If they want to have their ways, they have to push him and make sure that the candidate they want, the candidate they believe in, the candidate they know is going to support their vision, is, given the green light by the Senate to be in the cabinet. But you discover that once the Senate said that because of security reports against El-Rufai, it was dropped, and the president just called for a replacement. So El-Rufai now says that it wasn't the Senate, it was the president. So whatever happened between him and the president, he has not told us.
But do you think it is the security issue that made them not to appoint him as a minister, or dropped his name?
You see, the Senate did not tell us the nature of the security report. They just said security report. So if they have told us that because maybe when he was governor, as some people speculate, he closed his eyes to what was happening in southern Kaduna, where there were lots of killings. Massacre of people, and the government seemed to have neglected a part of his own state. Because as a governor, you are a governor, even if those set of people or that part of the state did not vote for you, just like the president. Even if a part of the country did not support you in an election, once you emerge, the whole country becomes your constituency.
Yes.
Once you emerge as a state governor, the whole state becomes your constituency. So you carry everybody along. In fact, wise governors and presidents will even do more for the part of the state that did not support them in order to win them to themselves. But we didn't see that in the case of El-Rufai. He neglected southern Kaduna. There were lots of killings. There were lots of banditry. So one may tend to say maybe because of what happened at that time, that was why they used the security report to drop him. We don't know. You know, I wouldn't say whether it was the security report or that there were some other issue that
other factors,
the president himself, came across, and he decided that he cannot be in my cabinet.
Okay, away from that, let's look at fuel scarcity, and as fuel scarcity looms, marketers threaten nationwide strike. Well, a nationwide fuel scarcity may be often, as the Independent Petroleum Marketers Association of Nigeria had issued a 7-day ultimatum to the federal government to settle the outstanding bridging claims amounting to 100 billion naira. Let's throw more light on that.
You see, the petroleum sector in Nigeria, they say is the egg that lays the golden egg. It's the end that lays the golden egg. And you discover that the sector too has been a problem to the country because of the corruption within the sector. And right now, the marketers, the Independent Petroleum Marketers Association, have given ultimatum within 7 days to the federal government to settle a debt that is being owed to their members. And how did this come about? You recall that before this time, they used to have Equalization Fund. And that fund was meant for settlement because prices of petroleum products were uniform across the country. If you sell officially, if you sell maybe at 200 naira or 300 naira in the southern part of the country, it should also be sold at 300 or 200 naira in northern parts of the country. So the difference in movements of products from the south to the north was being taken up by the federal government to compensate the marketers, because to transport these products from the south to the north cost a lot. So that cost was being borne by the federal government. So that was before the subsidy on petroleum products was removed. So that indebtedness, according to these petroleum marketers, has been on the ground. Even after the removal of subsidy, you discover that the federal government has not settled the independent marketers. And according to them, the indebtedness has amounted to 100 million
100 billion
naira.
Yeah.
And they are now asking for the money to be settled. I think the government should look into the books. Is it real? Because the problem we have is the problem of corruption. The government may want to look at it and see, is it really true that we are owing them? Or is it that this figure of 100 billion naira is just being cooked up? So they should look into why. So they look into it and see how it can be settled. Because right now you've discovered that Nigerians are born a lot because of the policies of the current government that has been biting on everybody because of the removal of fuel subsidy or a subsidy on petroleum resources.
But do you think the federal government are ready to listen to them, and do you think they would even pay this amount of money?
If the debt is genuine, why not? If it's genuine, they should pay, not the matter of whether or not. If you are owing somebody, you should pay. And you realize if it's a person, between individuals, you go to court and the court would look at it. And I wouldn't be surprised if the IPMAN, the Independent Petroleum Marketers Association, if they decide, if government, they down tools, maybe the next thing, and if they down tools, there's no other way of moving products than through the tankers by road. And if they down tools, it means that product availability will not be there. So Nigerians will suffer for it. And it wouldn't be for the good of the government. Not only that Nigerians, the economy will suffer, industries will suffer because everything depends, electricity is nowhere to be found. And people depend on diesel. And diesel, petrol, and others are moved by these people. And if they say they are not moving, the economy will suffer. It would not be for the good of the government. So government should look into it and see if this debt is genuine, they should settle it.
Okay, well, away from that, let's talk about this reinstated Osun local government and chairman issue. The issue 72-hour ultimatum to workers. And this has been in the news since last week. Can you throw more light on what's really happening in Osun State?
Before this time, Osun State used to be ruled or governed by the All Progressive Congress. But the People's Democratic Party won the last election and took over the governance of Osun State. And since then, the APC, being at the center as well, is not happy. It believes that this ought to be part of its own, this Osun State ought to have been in their kitty. And the former governor is now a minister in the cabinet of President Bola Tinubu. Like somebody noted, it appears that he is not even looking at his current portfolio as a minister of blue, excuse me, as a minister of blue economy. Is so much entrenched in the politics of Osun State, maybe working to see how he wants to take, or how his party can win the state back. And you realize also that local governments, governance of local government have been very contentious in Nigeria at the present, because who governs, who rules, who has the local government, because that is where elections, that is where you have the grassroots support from. And that is why any government that comes in will want to put its own people at the local government level. Any governor does not joke with local government. So that is why you find out that this current governor, who is a PDP governor, when he came in, he decided, I don't know, filed the case. Eventually, the high courts in the state ruled against the former administration of the local government. And from there, the current governor decided to conduct an election to fill the vacancy. The matter was taken to the appeal court, and from there, the appeal court ruled that those local government chairmen who were sacked can go back. According to them, I've not read the judgment of the appeal court. So they said, based on the judgment of the appeal court, the former local government who are former local government's personnel,
Yes.
elected people in the in the local government should go back. So they decided to go back, and from there, the state government that has scheduled a local government election last Saturday went ahead to conduct the election. If you recall, you see that the police, the Nigerian police force, won against conducting the election. The Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice also warned the state governor not to conduct the election, because they feel that it's going to, since APC once had already said they are going to take over, or they've taken over the local government, and if he went ahead to conduct, it will bring about some bloodbath. But the state governor went ahead, ignored this advice by the police and the Attorney General, and conducted the election. And swiftly, he sworn in those who were elected according to them. And you know, when local government election is conducted in Nigeria, you know, the party in power in the state would win in quotes all the local government councils, all the councillorship positions, all the chairmanship positions will belong to the, except they just deliberately want to allow any other party to take a part of it, as it happened in Akwa Ibom State, where the local government of the current Senate president was ceded to the APC because of the Senate president. So this is the politics there, the politics of local government, who controls it, because they know that is where the powerhouse of the next election will come from. That is why you see these intrigues. And that is why you find out that the federal might in Abuja will want to support the APC in Osun State against the PDP, because the APC at the federal level want to take Osun State back. And that is why you see the crisis. Thank you very much.
Well,
Very much.
well, that's all we